Joining us right now is Mr. Aditya Kaushik of US India Business Council, and in this quick chat we'll be speaking to him regarding the emerging AI, artificial intelligence, and also certain negatives that comes along with it. The regulations know that the government and the authorities will come up in order to curb the menace that is emerging out of the deepfake and other negatives as well. So thank you for joining us. So my first question is that pertaining to the aspect of artificial intelligence, what is the roadmap for India and US when it comes to the aspect of artificial intelligence?
So thanks for having me. The relationship between the two countries, be it people to people, bilateral, diplomatic, have never been better before. One example is, we are in Bangalore right now, and we're hosting something. USIBC, the organization that I work for, is hosting the India-USA Technology Conclave, where we're bringing together stakeholders from the government, the industry, and the academia to talk about, to sort of chart the roadmap for not just artificial intelligence, but also other emerging and critical technologies. We count each other as the closest partners in the world, and the US-India comprehensive global and strategic partnership is grounded in our shared principles of democracy, freedom, and the rule of law. So, charting a technological collaboration of the future is already at the forefront of our partnership. And one such major milestone is something that we achieved last year in 2022 was India and US launched something called as the Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technologies, where we sort of affirmed our ways to develop, deploy, and govern emerging and critical technologies like artificial intelligence. Apart from this, we've also sort of collaborated together, or we are working towards a pathway on building a roadmap on developing emerging and critical technologies. So the roadmap is already set. Now the time is for execution, and I think the relationship between the two countries is just getting closer and closer. So I believe that moving forward, we will see a lot more collaborative projects around not just around AI, but also around other emerging and critical technologies.
Okay. And also, as I mentioned earlier, there are certain negatives that are emerging out of certain tech, like deepfake as well. It recently made the national headlines here in India, where actresses like Lakshmi Kamandana and Alia Bhatt, their deepfakes were made, and also the government has said that IT ministry has said that they're coming up with certain regulations. So when it comes to regulations, there can there be a global consensus on what sort of regulations will be out there?
Yeah, so consumer-facing AI applications like your ChatGPT of the world, right? They are gaining more visibility now. We see their disruptive influence as we speak. One of the challenges AI-based solutions do bring about a lot of positive impact in our society, but we do see a lot of threats emanating from AI applications. One is deepfake. We see that there are several videos of celebrities, deepfake videos of celebrities on social media platforms. This has been flagged by our government, by our Prime Minister himself, who spoke about it. It's not just about deepfake videos, it's misinformation in general, and it gets amplified with AI-based applications. There are other threats emanating out of AI-based solutions, like threats to jobs. Job disruption is one of the big issues. Privacy, bias, right? It sort of amplifies all of the negative sort of impacts of cyberspace. So this is a very real problem that we face, and speaking from the perspective of both India and the US, India, through its variety of laws that we've been coming out with, the digital economy laws, be it on the privacy, be it the upcoming Digital India Act, be it on the Telecom Act, directions for cybersecurity guidelines, we are coming out with ways to modernize how to govern cyberspace. Similarly, when it comes, from the United States perspective, very recently there was an executive order issued by the Biden administration on how to sort of govern AI and how to build safe AI solutions. Um, so not just the two countries, but also countries worldwide are cognizant of the threats that AI pose. We see that India is now the chair of Global Partnership of Artificial Intelligence. It's a multi-stakeholder initiative to build responsible AI development, where our minister has very categorically mentioned that the core essence of building any platform or solution should be user centric, where user safety is of paramount importance, right? And we see that through various sort of global through various global gatherings, be it at there was a summit in UK on AI safety, where 28 countries, including India, gathered to sign a declaration on working together to build AI safe research. Then you had the G20 that India hosted, that India was the president of, where there were points within the declaration that highlighted the threats that emanate from AI and how global consensus is required to build AI safe research. The G7 declaration, I can go on and on. So the world leaders are cognizant about the threat that AI faces or AI presents, and I think global consensus is sort of being built around it. And the two countries, India and the US, are sort of leading the way in galvanizing this collective action to address the threats of AI, but also to work together to see how humanity can benefit from AI-based solutions. We need to also be aware that we should not over-regulate to a point where innovation gets affected. So from that perspective, I think a balancing act is required, and the two countries, India and the United States, are at the forefront of making sure that collective action is sort of galvanized when it comes to addressing problems related to AI, but also working towards building out AI solutions that will sort of help humanity prosper.
Joining us now is Dr. Samir Gurudu. Sir, thank you for joining us. My first question to you will be regarding the commercial space collaboration between India and the US. So what do you see? How is the road ahead?
Thank you for having me. First of all, so as far as commercial space sector is concerned, and given the warming up of relations between India and the United States, there's a lot of opportunity in this sector. So if you see, there are a lot of startups, especially since we are in Bangalore, it's full of space startups. So the amount of work that is going on ground, especially in India, as a part of Make in India and other initiatives, is tremendous. And there are no limits. I mean, as a lot of people say, it sounds cliche, but sky is the limit, right? So there are a lot of opportunities in the commercial space sector that are opening up, especially if you're looking at sectors like SATCOM, geospatial, space situational awareness. These are all areas that are absolutely essential going forward, because there's a lot of space activity happening. As you know, SpaceX, for example, is one of the primary startups that has bloomed in such a big way and tremendous way. And they're also able to provide internet and other services based from satellites, right? So this opens up a lot of opportunities also for Indians. For example, there are some startups that are based in Bangalore that are looking at edge computing from space. Then there are startups that are based in California, for example, that are looking at space situational awareness. So there needs to be a lot more collaborative effort. There needs to be a lot more emphasis on both the countries looking at collaboration and initiatives such as the IndusX that, for example, we launched in June this year, for example, provide this opportunity and a platform for both startups to interact. And that eventually leads to collaborative activities and efforts. And also a lot of interest is shown from prime companies in the United States as well as in India to see space as a sector for collaboration. So that's it.
And also, you were speaking about civil aviation. So how do you see this? Could you elaborate more on that?
So not specifically talking about civil aviation, I was trying to mention that the commercial space collaboration that is currently happening between India and the US is a part of the Civil Space Joint Working Group that was already launched. So commercial space is a sector that is currently being emphasized, and if you look at the 2+2 joint statement that was released recently, it basically talks on how commercial space is a sector for collaboration between both the countries. And even at the Bangalore Tech Summit that we are a part of and organizing the Indo-U.S. Technology Conclave as a part of the Bangalore Technology Summit, one of the key sectors is commercial space. So we have people from the government of the United States, representatives from the Office of Space Commerce, then as well as Indian regulator in space that will be participating in this event. And we'll be deliberating on what are the strategies going forward as far as commercial space collaboration is concerned. So that's what I wanted to mention.
So, and also my last question to you is, India has been pushing for Make in India from the past decade, and also US defense companies are doing business here and sort of fulfilling the aspirations of Make in India. So how do you see this new innovation and research when it comes to this between India and US?
So there are a lot of opportunities that will of course open up even in the defense sector. One of the primary issues that we have to face currently, the challenge is there are a lot of regulations in both the governments when it comes to foreign direct investment in the defense sector. So there are ITAR regulations, ER regulations on the American side. So both the countries are sitting down together increasingly. There are a lot of events that we do also on the sidelines, working with both the governments, try to see where are the opportunities for synergies in the defense sector. So I think this is just a matter of time. I think it will be in the next 5 years. I mean, given India and the US both are like mature democracies, there will definitely be a lot of opportunities coming up. And given the geopolitical landscape that is currently present and the threats that are emerging from our northern neighbor, so there are a lot of opportunities for collaboration as far as defense sector is concerned. And increasingly, a lot of Indian startups are also realizing this fact, and there are also now discussions around how Indian companies can access the American market in the defense sector. So there are few hurdles, but I think it's just a matter of time. In the next 5 to 10 years, I think all these hurdles should be cleared, and there will be a lot more deepening of relationship in the defense sector between both the countries.
Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.